Yes, good morning. Yeah, so
Good
this
morning.
morning, I've decided we have some revision in, I think we have covered some HTML for the revision. So this morning, I want to have some revision in JavaScript together. If you look at the next past papers, I think you have seen some questions in JavaScript. Have you seen them?
Yes.
Yeah, so I want to now, because JavaScript is a bit tricky, I want to now we have some revision in JavaScript together, because I think you have the notes. I had sent the combined notes last time. Is it true? All the notes together.
Yes.
Yeah, so this morning, I want to have some practicals in JavaScript. Yeah, because it is very, very, very essential. Because, for example, you look at the programs in JavaScript, they carry a 3-6 marks together. So I want to have several programs today, several practicals for JavaScript. Yeah, so this morning. Yeah, so I hope you have your machines ready. Do you have your machines ready? Yeah, but I'll be sharing the screen. In case you don't have your laptop, I'll be sharing the screen. Still, I'll post the programs together, the class together. So we'll go through them together. Then, after the class, I'll post them in the platform. Yeah, so you can have JavaScript. And I believe JavaScript is not a new terminology to you. It's not new. Ian, let me ask you, Ian, what is JavaScript according to you? What is JavaScript? Because I think in topic 2, you covered the types of server-side scripting languages and you have the client-side. So what is JavaScript according to you? What is JavaScript? Ian, according to you, what is JavaScript according to you? What is JavaScript? Ian, what is JavaScript according to you? Yes, whenever we talk about the JavaScript, this is a lightweight programming language. It's a what? A lightweight programming what language? Sometimes we can say that the JavaScript is a what? There's a scripting language or language. Actually, now JavaScript is designed for creating some network-centric applications. Yeah, that is correct. From Ian, it is the right way. We have said it's a what? A lightweight created language, and we have say used to create what we call the network-centric applications. It is used to create network-centric applications. To validate the forms. Still, you can use the JavaScript now to we can say we have validate. Yeah, so maybe we can have the first program, we can have JavaScript. One of the benefits of having JavaScript, we have said, is the client-side language. It is a client-side scripting what language? A client-side scripting language. Yeah, am I audible now? Ian, am I audible now? Just confirm whether I'm audible now. Just confirm whether I'm audible now. Yeah, that is okay. So I'm saying we were discussing about JavaScript, and I've said before we go to the first program in JavaScript, maybe we can have some of the advantages of JavaScript. And I've said JavaScript has been used to validate the form. It has been used in what? In form validation. For example, in case they have a form which is having, for example, the names of people, having the email, having the password, you can use JavaScript to validate the form. But we have said one of the limitations of having JavaScript is the validation. In case someone is to in case someone is able to disable JavaScript in the web browser, there is no way validation can take place. So that is one of the limitations of JavaScript. So the advantage of JavaScript we have, the first one is another language to learn. Very, very easy to learn. Still, it is the client-side language. So all the scripting takes place on the client side. Still, it is platform independent. It is easy to debug. It is easy to test. So these are some of the advantages or the benefits of having what? JavaScript as a scripting language. So this morning, I want to go straight to the practicals. I want to have the first program in JavaScript. I want to have the first program in JavaScript. But if we go to that now, you must be knowing how to declare variables in JavaScript. There is no way you can write a program unless you can declare and initialize a variable. So what are variables? What are variables, Tony? Variables are not new to you because you must declare some variables in JavaScript. In any programming language, you must declare some variables. So what is a variable according to you, Tony? What is a variable? What is a variable according to you? Tony, what is a variable? So when we talk about a variable, these are the containers that are used to store the data values of what of the same data type. They are the containers that are used to store the values of the same data type. So before you come up with a variable, you must observe or you must follow the rules of the variables. We have what we call the rules for what? For naming of variables. And one of the rules, a variable cannot be a reserved one. A variable cannot be a what? Cannot be a reserved word. There is no way, for example, you can use int. For example, you have var int. There is no way you can use the same int to create out a variable. So that variable should not be a reserved word. The second rule, a variable or the names using the variables can only contain letters, digits, and underscores. The names using variables can only contain letters, digits, and what? And underscores. For example, maybe you can have let me just share a screen. Let me just repeat here. For example, you can have maybe val, maybe you have seen that there is one I typed here, var test what underscore 12. These are what? These are name. Because you have said that the name which are using the variables, they can contain what we have. The letters are here. We have some digits and we have what? An underscore. Another rule, when you're naming variables, the name must begin with the letter. The name must begin with the what? With the letter. The name must begin with the letter. For example, this one I typed here, it has started the what? With the letter T. They must begin with the what? With the letter. Still, the names are case sensitive. The names are what? Are case sensitive. For example, in case you declare a variable using a lowercase, and you want to echo back that information using an uppercase, this is what it is case sensitive. So in case now you have declared your variables using the lowercase, you have to ensure, even as you print that information, you have to use the lowercase. This is what case sensitive. Maybe now, maybe you can come up with a simple program. We can declare some variables here, and we try to print whatever the variables. Maybe you can come up with the first program in JavaScript. Let me just open my text editor. I'm using the Notepad++ text editor, but now that JavaScript, it has to be embedded in what? In HTML. So let me just share my screen, having the text editor. Just share the screen. I'm sharing my screen. open. Yeah, just a minute, it is opening. Now, when is that screen? Are you able to see the screen? Yeah, because now I want to come up with the first program in JavaScript. I want to come up with the first program in JavaScript. And we said for now, for the JavaScript, it has to be embedded in HTML. It has to be embedded in what? In HTML. So we have to open the text editor now and have, for example, I'm writing the program now. It's clear. Just observe the program now. I just open the head. Then I have to open the script now. The script is supposed to be embedded within what? Within the head. So we have the head tag is here. I just open the script. Just for the script. Then you have function here. So function hello. Have that. Then we can have the curly bracket. Then I have to close my script. Close that script. Then once you close the script now, you have to close the head. You have to close the head. I have to close that head. Have that. Then I have to open my body. Just open the body now. Because you're supposed to have a button here. You're supposed to have a button that once you click it now, you have the message that you're supposed to have a button that says click me. Once you click the button, you have what? Hello world. So at the bottom, we have the button now. Just open the button here with the button. Button on click is equals to hello. Then you close that button. We close the button. Close that button. Then you have to close the break. You have to break. Then you close our body. Just close our body. Then you close our HTML. We just close our HTML. Yeah, so this is our first program now. It's supposed to have a button. In that button now, it is using a function. If you look at this part here, it is what a function. We have a function hello. And look at the same hello which is here is also here. The same function. So we are supposed in the browser now we have a button. Once you give that button, you have what? Hello world. So let us run this program on the browser. Any question at that point before I go to the browser? Any question? Any question? If I go to the browser, any question if I go to the browser, any question? In case of no question, so let us run the program. And remember, you have to save it as .html. The extension is supposed to be .html, HTML, because you have said that JavaScript is embedded in HTML, HTML. So let me share the screen having the output. Just share the screen having the output. Here we have this one. If you can see it, if we can start information, can you start information? So we have this output now, and we're having a button. In case now we click this button here, in case we click it, for example, let's click it. And listen now the message, hello world. That is how you use
We can see.
Yes?
We can see the screen sharing.
Yeah, let me see, let me reload the page. Let me see. Now it is a bit clear together. So in case now we have this one, in case you let us click it, can you see now the message? You have that message. The message it is on the top, it is not visible for now. So let me minimize. See it. Once you click, are you able to see it? And because you have a message here, then by the tabs, once you click that now,
yes.
Can you see hello world? Can you see it?
Yes.
There we have that message, hello world. Have you able to see it? Hello world. Once you click that button. Any question on that? Any question? Most of the times you use the JavaScript to come up with some buttons. For example, you have on click. You have, for example, you have cancel. You can have a button for OK. For example, in case you click OK, you have a button for accept. So that is using what JavaScript. Any question on that? Any question? Any question on that? Yeah, any question? Mushag, any question? Faith, Kiadi, Tone? Because we have some programs today, sort of programs. Yeah, in the case of no other question. Now, I want now we go to the variables here. I want to come up with some variables, so we can have a simple program now using JavaScript to add two numbers. So you can have a simple program using JavaScript to add two numbers. Yeah, so let me just share the screen having a simple program here. program add two numbers. I'm showing the screen a simple program using JavaScript to add two numbers. Yeah, we have a simple program now. So I have to delete all this information. Let me just remove this information. I have that point. And yeah. So now we have a simple program now to add two numbers using what? JavaScript. A simple program to add two numbers using what? Using JavaScript. So still we'll have the script part here. We have the script part. Yeah, so I have to close the script at this point. I have to close the script. Close that. Then at the script now, we have a function here. We have a function add. Have that. Then now we have to declare some variables. How do we declare the variables in JavaScript? By using val. By using val, out now we have two numbers here. So we have val A, we have a comma, we have B, and we have C. Then it has to be preceded by using what? A semicolon. And it's supposed to open like the bracket is here. Have that. Then we can have this. A is equals to, remember now, you're supposed to input the value in the small word, in the small text box, have number, have that, have number, then you have document, to get element, the ID, have document, to get element. And remember I said that JavaScript is not case sensitive. So you have to be very, very careful. In case you're using the lowercase, you're using what the uppercase. Get element, the ID. And you have now the first value is here. First. Have that information. You can have the next one. I can copy this information. Just copy that information. Then you have it here. Then you can have the second value. You can have that. And here we have second. Then the sum is equals to C is equals to A plus B. That is what the sum, A plus B. Then you have what? A semicolon. And here you have document. Close that. And here we have document. So to get element. Value is equals to C. And remember, you said that even testing, even debugging of the JavaScript is very, very simple. So that is a function now. That is a function. Then we go to the body now. That is a function. So you have to close the head here. Let's close the head. We have to close that. Then you go to the body now. Let's go to the body. Let's open our body is here. Just open the body. In case of any question, you can ask as we proceed. Now we are supposed to input now the values using what? Using a text box. So we have enter, enter, the first number, input ID, remember our first number is supposed to be what? It's supposed to be first is here. Still we have what? First, we have first. We have to close that. Then we have the second. We have the second. Enter the second number. Have that. Input ID is equals to second. Input ID is equals to second. Input ID is equals to second. Then you must be having a button now. This button, so now once you click this button here, you'll have a button having what? The add function. Once you click add now, it will add what? C is equals to A plus B is supposed to be. C is equals to A plus B. So let us have now the button here. Let's have a button. On click. Remember there's a function on click. That. Then you close the button. Just close that button. We have input. Input ID is equals to answer. Remember, we declared even the value answer somewhere is equals to answer. Yeah, this is a program now to add what? Two numbers using what? Using just JavaScript. So you must have a function. The first thing you have to do, you have to declare what? A function. You have to create a function. You have to declare a function. Any question on that? Any question on that program? We proceed. Any question? Yes. Just look at that program and you ask any question. Look at that program. And you can see now in the first part here, we are able to declare some functions here at the top. Function add, we have it here. Then we're able to open the bracket now, and we're able to declare the variables. You have the variables. You have A, B, and what? B and C. And these variables now, you have to separate them using a comma. Then it has to be preceded. The last variable using what? A semicolon. Then we have declared that the first value is supposed to be picked from a form. A is equals to now. Remember, you're supposed to input this value using what? A text box. It has to be picked. So document.get element by what? By ID, and you have declared that the ID is supposed to be what? First. That is the ID is supposed to be first. Then the second we have ID is equals to second. Then you have state. For us to get the answer is equals to A plus what? Plus C is here. Then you have to open what? Once you put that script now in the head, the rest of the information or the form information you have to add to the body. Then you must have this button here. In case there's another question, if we can learn, we see the output. We can learn, we see the output. Yeah, that's another program in the browser. Let me share the screen. Yeah, I'm sharing the program. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. Yeah, you can see now this is how to put our program now. You're supposed to input now the two values by using a text box. It is here. For example, in case I just let us have let me just clear this information. Let me just clear that information. Just clear. For example, in case our first value is supposed to be 10, in case our first value is supposed to be 10, and our second value is supposed to be 15, supposed to be 15. So what is the output? What is the output before I click that function? The carry. What is the output of our program? Once you use that function add, what is the output? You're supposed to get what? Yeah, that is correct. Correct. Yes, you have 25. So let us click now. Let us use now this function here add. We have what? We have 20, 25. You'll be able to see that. But if now here we have 100, once we click that button, we have what? 115. That is how you come up with a what? With a simple program to add two numbers using what? Using JavaScript. Yeah, let me share the code now. Maybe you can ask a question from the code. Let me share the code. That is a code. Maybe you can ask some questions or you can write the code. Like maybe you can ask some questions. So ask some questions from the code. You can ask some questions. I'm waiting for some questions before I proceed. So any question, Tony? Any question? Here any question? Francisco, any question? Or Ian, any question? Any question? Yeah, maybe I can explain now. Yeah, maybe let me just let me just explain for you the code. Now you look at the first value now, you have number, then you have document.get element by ID, the first value. So that code, this code here, this one, just show you this one. This code is used to receive the first input value from the input field, which you have what? ID first. Then we have this one. Once more, we have this one. This code is used to receive the first input value from the input field, whereby the ID is equals to second. Then you have this one here for the answer. We have this code here. Now, for this one, it is used to receive the computed value or that value which has been calculated using all that factorial, whereby C is equals to A plus B. And now the last code is here for this one. This button here is used, or that it activates the function add once this script is clicked. It is able to activate this function once this clicked. So that is a simple program now to add two numbers using what? Using JavaScript. Yeah. Maybe we can have another code now. Yeah, we can have a simple program to swap two numbers using what? Using JavaScript. Let us have a simple program to swap two numbers using what? Using JavaScript. A simple program to swap two numbers using what? JavaScript. So I have to remove this information. Yeah. Maybe we can have the same value now, but we'll be having just a simple program now to add what two values. Let me have a comment here. Let me just put a comment here. Let me have some comments. Maybe we can have maybe a simple program. A simple program to swap two numbers. Swap two numbers. Yeah, I can see Kerry here's a question that are the hyphens or equals? Because mine is not working. Yeah, these are not hyphens. These are the equal signs. These are equal signs. This is an equal sign. This is an equal sign. Yeah, this is an equal sign. Okay, now we are together. It is an equal sign, not a hyphen. It is an equal sign. Yeah. We have not used any hyphen somewhere here in this program. It is an equal sign. Yeah. Here. It's an equal sign. To swap numbers now. Yeah, I'll just move for the function has been here we have swap. This you can have variable you can see. We can still have information. And we can have this is equal to A. Then you can have maybe is equals to B. Is equals to B. Let me just move the rest here. Just move that is equals to B. And B is equals to C. B is equals to B is equals to C. And have that information. Then you have document to replace element by ID. Then here you have answer one. You have answer one. And the value is equal to A. This remains. You can just copy that information. We have that. Then here we have answer two. We have answer two. Then is equals to B. You can have is equals to B. We have that. Then the rest of the information is supposed to be placed in the body. The rest of the information is supposed to be placed in the body. So just come to the body is here and have A equals to we have the input. Input ID is equal to first. Have that is equal to first. That's the first value. Then you can have the second value. Have the second value. The value of B. The value of B is equal to second. It's equal to second. Then now we can have the button whereby in case we click A, it's swapped to B. In case we click B, can be swapped to A. You can have now the button is here. Let's have the button. Just move that comment. It is here now. The program is here. Yeah, whereby now we are supposed to input two values. You have the first value and you have the second value. Yeah, first value and you have the second value. So let us run the program now. Yeah, I hope you can hear me. So let us run the program now. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? It's scary, Anthony. You can hear me. Let me just see the screen having the output. Are you able to see the output? Are you able to see the output? Let me, yeah, Kiari, I will share the code immediately. I'll share the code immediately. Yeah, I'll share the code immediately. Let me first see the output. I'll share the code immediately just now. Just observe that program. Yeah, can you see that information? Able to see that information? Yeah, we have how do we swap the values here? How do we swap the values? For example, in here, in case we just input 15, let us have 50, the value for A, and the value for B, we have what? We have 12. How do we swap them? Let us click swap. And you can use the output now. The value for B here becomes what? The value for A here, and the value for A here becomes what? The value for B. Are you able to see that information? The can is working. We can test once more. Let us clear this information. Clear that. You can have the value for A here to be 28, the value for B here to be 36. We just do what? We just click swap. Yeah, the values have been swapped. The second answer. Any question? Yeah, let me share the code so that for the sake of theory to learn, let me just share the code. Let me share the code. Yeah, Kerry, maybe just observe the code. You check that where you have an error. Kerry, I've shared the code. You just confirm the code. Kerry, I'm sharing the code. Just observe the code. Then you just give me the go ahead so they can proceed. Just confirm. Just confirm the code. So that was our second program now. A simple program to swap to numbers. Then you can have another program now in JavaScript now. For example, in case you're requesting an exam scenario, come up with a program to check whether the number given is even or odd using JavaScript. And there's one I saw in the past paper whereby you're supposed to come up with a simple program to check whether the number given is either an odd number or a digit or an even number, odd or even number. So let us get back to the code now. You can have a simple JavaScript program to check whether the number given is odd or even. Let's have to remove all this information. I have to move this function here. Just move that function. Let me just move that information. You can have function odd underscore even. Then you can declare the variable number and have that. You can declare the variable number. Document get element. If you are following that information, you have to follow keenly. Then you'll be using what you call the conditional statement, the if else, right together, or the nested if. So here we have the if statement. So if number, if number is exactly equal to 0, if number is exactly equal, if number is what exactly equal to 0, then have that. You open the curly bracket. Even number. Here we have a semicolon. We must have a semicolon. Just have that semicolon. Else, close the curly bracket. You just close the curly bracket and have else. Then you just open a curly bracket once more. A large number is odd. Then we have odd number. Then just go to the body. Just go to the body here. Then we have now enter in the number here. Just move that. Have enter in the number. Then you have the button is here for click. So remember our function here is what odd even. That is our function. It is supposed to be here. And that is the program now. So there's a simple program now using JavaScript to check whether the number inputted is whether odd or even. Simple program. Yeah, so let us run the program. That's the output of this program. Yeah, before I proceed, any question? And let me just reload the page. I can see there's not. Let me just reload the page. It's supposed to be click me. It's supposed to be click me. Let me just reload the page. Just share the screen. so that is the output now. Let us just input some values. We see whether the program will able to determine whether the program is even or odd number. Let us input, for example, we have 8. Can you see now? Are you able to see the output now? It is the what? An even number. It's been hidden. Are you able to see? It's been hidden, the output. You have this information. This page says even what, even a number. Yeah, it's been hidden. There's a pop-up. There's a pop-up. Can you see it on your head, that pop-up? Can you see it? It is been hidden here. No, maybe it is, let me see how I can ensure this. Let me see so that you're able to see it. Yeah, but it is here. Maybe learn the program on your head, because now, once we put now, we have this message, even number. Once you click that OK, then you put like 3 here, it detects that what is the number. So just do this now on your head. I want to write that program. Yeah, it's running. Write that program, because now the output is hidden on the top. Remember, there's a script. Let me just say the program. So that now you can write it. It is hiding some information, the browser at the top. So later the program to clarify the output. So just come up with that program. Just come up with that program. Select that program. Yeah, I want to make that program so that will the output. So let me share I can do this now. Let me just share the file. Yeah, let me just share the programs in this platform. Let me just upload them. Yeah, carry on. As you come up with these programs, you have the key sensitive area. Just confirm even the comma. It can affect even the semicolon. Yeah, you have to be very, very careful. I've shared the document. Maybe just copy that information on that document. I've shared the document. It's there. Yeah. simplify. Yeah. This is the I've shared the programs. The rest tried. Tony, have you tried to come up with that program? Tony, Francisco, have you want to come up with that program? Because here it is a bit hidden. Yeah, I want to come up with that program. I've shared the document having the program. Because that is key sensitive. It is not key sensitive. I want to run that program. So have you seen that document, having that program? Just confirm the document. Yeah, the codes are well written. Yeah, I want to run these codes. Yeah, I want to run this program. So, Tony, have you seen it? Tony, so Kiet, have you seen the doc, having that program? Have you seen it? What about Ian and Mushank? Have you seen the document? Yeah. So how was the class today? How are the programs today? Yeah. So that document still I've added other programs of that document. So how are the practicals today, Ian? How are the practicals today? Because now I'll post a quiz. I want to work on a question, not a discussion today, a quiz concerning JavaScript. There is one I'm posting just now. So how was the class today? How are the practicals? And you have to run those programs. Yeah. A kid is asking if I may ask, can you use any bracket? No, you cannot use. There's somewhere you're supposed to use the normal bracket, and there's somewhere you're supposed to use the curly bracket. Yeah. For example, for example, the functions. For example, you can have function odd underscore even. It's supposed to have what the normal bracket. Then, as you can the function whereby we have the variables now, you're supposed to use the curly bracket. You're supposed to use what the curly bracket. There's a question I posted. You're supposed to write a JavaScript program to determine the factorial of a number. This is the question. You're supposed to work on it. You write the code and you post it. But you write a JavaScript program to determine the factorial of a number. So just confirm that quiz you work on it. Yeah, I'll mark it. So have you seen the question? Have you seen it? Gary, Tony and Francisco, have you seen the question? That quiz. It is okay. So work on it and I'll mark it. And still, on those programs, that document, you have to run them once when your machines. You have to run them once in your machine. Yeah, so the time remaining for 50 minutes, you just work on that at the mark. And so a good day, I'll mark after that question. The due date is supposed to be today at 1:30. So by 1:30, you're supposed to be doing that program because I'll mark at exactly 1:30 p.m. I'll mark that question.